Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 23rd episode of the sensational ArtaCast with the sensational hosts, LD and me. And another week of Lorcana, another week of excitement, and another week of testing is behind us. And we are, or at least me, I'm preparing for the big tournament in Germany, the Ravensburg tournament, in which I don't want to play one of the two. Yeah, how can I say? If we say tier 0 deck, I don't know decks, and you probably even less want to. But yeah, Adi, how was your Lorcana week? How was your testing? Are you feeling good in the Lorcana world? How are your feelings?
Yeah, I'm feeling good in the Lorcana world, which is good compared to how I'm feeling in the real world. It's another week of me sounding nasal. I've been ill for most of the week, but that's meant that I've had a little bit more time to think about the game, that sort of thing, because I haven't been doing too much work. I'm feeling a lot better now. I was pretty wiped out by some other cold or flu, whatever I continuously get. I feel like I kind of have the constitution of a sickly Victorian child sort of thing. Like every week a new incurable illness sort of thing. But hopefully there'll be a week at some point soon where neither of us sound like we're really nasal and that we're
Mm-hmm.
that we're, that we're really ill. We've kind of been going back and forth with it. I'm hoping that we return to full health soon and see what we can achieve then. But in Lorcana terms, I'm feeling great. Playing a lot more green purple discard, feeling super positive about the deck, and just having a ton of fun with it. I feel like I've really turned a corner with my play of it. That it's sort of the more I play, the more reps I get, the more I kind of unlock different lines and
Mm-hmm.
get really comfortable with the deck. And yeah, feeling fantastic about it. And the more that people complain about how broken blue is, kind of the more excited I get because I'm like, whoa, maybe something does change about the game, and then that would be think about what it would unlock for me. None of the cards I enjoy playing with are getting talked about like in a negative way. I can only gain. So my outlook is pretty good.
That makes total sense. For me, too, I'm still working on my version of Blue Steel, which I was very happy with the last testings, and I'm coming back to still. I think I'm coming back to my version that I initially played, and still I think it has its spot in the meta, and that makes me a bit happy because yeah, it's the one deck of the format that fits my playstyle the most, and that's yeah. And if we find a deck that fits our playstyle and is competitive, then a Lorcana player should be happy, you know.
That's the dream.
Yeah. Other than that, I was today. How do you call that? Um, what do you wear in your wedding?
Oh, your
Uh,
suit
your
or
suit, yeah,
like
your
yeah.
suit. Your suit. I forgot the word. Yeah, I bought
Mhm.
my suit today for my wedding,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's not a good thing to do if you um, want to have a lot of money afterwards. But that's another story. So I'm happy that I done that to have
That
that out
that's a
of my
very
mind.
creative way. That's a
Uh,
very creative way of saying, please subscribe to my Metafy.
yes, exactly. Please, people, I live on the streets soon. So please help me. Please help me. No, no, I'm happy. That's just what I did today, and yeah. But in the Locana world, what do we want to talk about first? I think we want to firstly talk about some lists that maybe I don't know if you saw any one thing else, but I only saw one interesting list that I from the weekend. Because it's I don't want to complain. I think the people are annoyed by complaining, but I saw only one interesting list. The other things were really very basic blue red and blue steel dominated in the weekend. I think so. There's nothing to see very new, but the one list that was very new was from San again.
Hmm.
He's a very creative deck builder, and it's his new version of Blue Steel. he told in X, I saw his tweet about the deck, and he thinks, or he wrote at least, that this puts Blue Steel onto another level. The main differences are just the Sheriffs of Nottingham, and yeah, you could say the workshops, 4 workshops for Sheriffs of Nottingham. But the rest is still pretty, how can you say, standard Blue Steel. A little bit more items at all with 4 last cannons to make the Sheriff even more cheap, or to cheat out more Scrooges. What are your? I know you are not a very you're not very much into Blue Steel, but what were your? Did you have initial thoughts when you saw the deck list?
I did, and let me preface this just by saying I love like deck building innovation in all its forms, right? Even though I don't love the current state of blue red and blue steel, I really like to see iteration and people bringing back new cards that didn't see any play in the past, and just sort of digging some things up. Okay, now we can slot this in and make it really good. So my initially super excited to see like a list with 4 Sheriff of Nottingham in it doing well. Really cool, and like you say, really creative deck building from Zan, which yeah, he's got a bit of a reputation for. He thinks kind of differently about the game, and it comes out with some pretty great ideas. And when that excitement wore off, I guess I was just kind of left with a feeling of like, what are we doing? Like this deck looks this deck looks really powerful, and I can totally believe that it crushes a bunch of games. I can totally believe that it plays a ton of free Scrooges and wins a load of stuff. But like, you shouldn't be able to play this. Like, this is so greedy. This does nothing so often, and just like the full four copies of both Tamatoa, a 4 of
Sheriff,
9 cost uninkable. Like this shouldn't be allowed. Like, it shouldn't be able to exist. Not saying that I think it's bad. Far from it. I think it's probably amazing. It just makes me sad that it is amazing. Like,
or at least this deck shouldn't win against the turn 1 Daisy, you know.
No, exactly. Yeah, we shouldn't.
It could be able to win against red blue because it's late game, but against an aggressive deck, this should by default just lose. You know.
Yeah. It looks like something that's kind of built to be as greedy as possible, and for the sake of like beating red blue, like you say. The sadness or the negative feelings come in from the fact that, like, in a balanced metagame, something like this you couldn't really play in a tournament environment because you could expect to play at least 2 or 3 more proactive decks that you really don't have a lot of game against. But unfortunately, you do. Even if you do run into them, they're not that tough because you have like bells and things like that. Just kind of forgive all sins in that regard. And also the field is just so full of blue mirrors that you can afford to kind of build the greed machine. Just draw more cards, just play bigger, fatter things earlier, play more things for free. It's it's a wild arms race going on in these blue matches, and this build is really cool, really exciting, but exemplifies the problem to me. Like, it's kind of a, if this thrives, somewhere down the line you've got an issue. For
me, it's just very, very hard to how can I say, to evaluate, because just if I see it objectively, I don't know. The Sheriff is very hard to evaluate for me, how good he is. I need to see him in action to really evaluate him. My feeling was that Blue Steel didn't lack win conditions or something, so it was a bit of surprise that. But it's probably a tempo play, the Sheriff, and not a win condition. I mean, a win condition he's too, of course, but it's not that I often felt in Blue Steel items like, oh, what can I do to close out this game, you know? But Sheriff is just I mean, he quests for 4, and sometimes you can play him for 3 or something. So yeah, still, of course, like I said, it's a greedy list, of course, and I think he's aware of that. But on the other hand, he got often rewarded for his greediness. I think he's a bit known for his greediness in all kinds of. And I mean, I don't mean that bad or something. Like the green steel, he invented the green steel, for example. That was also a very very greedy deck. Yeah, like Diablo Shift and then Ursula and the Sad Beast and all the things. And yeah, greedy is often very powerful, of course. If you're not greedy at all, you have a bad deck, So
Yeah, exactly.
So it's still a thing to figure out between greediness and consistency. But yeah, I always say if you have success, then probably you don't you can't judge this too much,
Yeah.
Also, so
It's hard to like properly characterize these kinds of decks as greedy because to me, like the definition of greed in a trading card game was sort of how long can you afford to do as little as possible while just like your primary goal is accumulating resources, right? Like how long will you stand still accumulating resources before you start interacting with your opponent, sort
mm,
of thing? Or how many turns off will you take? How many risks will you take that can potentially be exploited by good draws just for the sake of out resourcing, grinding up? I don't like what's your how do you define it?
yeah, I would describe it a bit different. For me, greediness is, well, it's hard to say, but for me, greediness says how many cards do you play that are only good in very specific situations. That's how
Okay,
I
yeah.
would that how I would describe it at first. But I think your point comes into that a bit too. But Sheriff of Nottingham, or I think Morris Workshop is the perfect example for a greedy card for me
Yeah.
because it's like doing nothing in very very many cases and also in very very many matchups. I mean, you probably in any aggressive matchup you rarely want to draw this card at all. Probably, I don't know.
Mm,
If you play against Steel Song or something, or Diggy Diggy Hole, or my version of Blue Steel, I think you don't want to draw this card at all. You will never have time
yeah.
to take full value out of it, or against your I mean against green purple discards. Sometimes it could be okay. It's
Probably
hard
pretty
to
good.
say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, hard to say. Hard to say.
Yeah. Well, I think both of those things kind of do fall under the umbrella of greed. For me, yeah, I would say
Mm-hmm.
Maurice's Workshop is the perfect example because it is inherently like this three cost do nothing that is an investment for the future. Or,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you play at turn 5 and then Fortisphere and pay the one. And you're basically you're not impacting the board in any meaningful way. To set up accumulation of resources either immediately or in the future. Um, all of that to basically say, even though this deck is like has four obs of cards that we would characterize as
Mm-hmm.
greedy, I don't even know like how much you can really call it greedy because it still
Yeah.
has the means to interact early. Like it's still like often
Yeah.
just play your workshop in a Fortisphere on the same turn that you like sing your Zeus. You still interact on these turns. You're not taking time off. You're I don't know.
I
It's
mean,
just crazy powerful.
I would really more describe it as greed as inconsistent powerful. Like you said, for example, this Cinderella with this new shoe, for example, that's greedy for me. This
Okay,
this
right. Yeah.
this this item. How this played? If you have a princess in you can. What does this item say? You can take a princess back from your discard or something.
No, you can like search your deck for a princess and put it in your hand, I think.
And when you play her, you can take the shoe back and you get 3 lore or something, right?
Yep.
But that's the definition of greedy for me. I like,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I
but
guess I
it's
agree.
hard to say. It's hard to say. But yeah, inconsistent, powerful,
Okay.
or like you say, yeah, that's also greedy. Yeah, like do nothing.
Different forms of greed, I guess.
Yeah, it probably doesn't matter at all how we
No.
don't we don't write a Wikipedia article or something.
No. But
Um,
yeah, I basically just wanted to make the point that I think that these decks, like a list like this, looks slow and like it just durdles around for ages, which it absolutely can, but it still has the means to be very like active in the early turns and do meaningful things that shut down more aggressive strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, you could call it a problem. You could say that's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
That something is able to have such a ludicrously efficient draw engine plus an
Plus,
uncomparable late game,
yeah.
plus no real gaps in their early game as long as they draw a bell. Yeah, we're not here to discuss that, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think a really cool overall, a really cool list, really nice innovation.
Yeah, still,
Yeah,
shout out to San. I mean, he proved
yeah.
again, he's a crazy deck builder.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and it says a lot as well that he's like not comfortable sitting still, because
Yeah,
it's not like
yeah,
it's not like he wasn't playing a good deck.
yeah, yeah.
It's not
That's
like he was
true.
looking for
For any
looking for an
power.
answer. He wasn't sitting there thinking, "What do I play in this format?"
Yeah.
He already had some pretty good results with different
But
blue
I
steel
think
builds.
I listened to his podcast the other day, and he said he was very annoyed by blue mirrors. I think
Okay,
that's
right.
also something he wanted to make, maybe be one step ahead of the other mirror matches or something.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and that makes total sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
I was going to say, like you say, this was the only list that stood out to me this weekend.
Mm,
Like I see, there were a couple more tournaments, sort of mid-sized to some slightly larger. Yeah, really good, active, like independent tournament scene,
mm-hmm,
especially
mm-hmm.
in the US. Going up, like great job to all the TOs and all the players for filling this gap between DLCs and making sure there's activity, because yeah, there's no shortage of stuff going on for the people that could travel to attend it. But the story again was blue domination. You'd see a couple. I saw one that had like two green purples or something that
Yeah,
made the
and
top 16.
green yellow
And yeah,
also. I mean discard mainly. I saw some.
yep,
Um, and I think, yeah, green yellow is probably one of the best decks of the format still. I think it's the most powerful discard. I mean, you have forgotten me is a very, very powerful card against
was it
these.
green yellow discard in that tournament? I assumed it was the Churner Dog deck with the
Mm,
tramps and stuff, because that deck is getting very popular as well.
yeah, that's true. There's one, but how? Somewhere I saw.
Yeah, we have to look. Well, if
Yeah,
you saw one, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, we don't
yeah,
need to
that
dive
doesn't.
into all the individual
Yeah, it
lists,
doesn't.
but
Yeah,
it's
but
like
yeah,
there's a
somewhere I
couple
saw.
of
Yeah, I
edge
think.
case decks.
At least for me personally, I think green yellow discard is a very viable, because China Dog.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not very high on the deck because it gets so crushed by Thesis. It's so. I mean, you can risk it and then mainly get only blue steel, and that's fine.
Mm.
Then you're fine with the deck. But I would feel bad with it to really want to dodge at all costs red blue. I mean, with your green purple, I mean it's not a good matchup, but it's still playable. Like
I've been crushing it with green purple. It feels close to free. It's just, yeah, I don't know what they do. They run all their stuff out and leave like a Rapunzel or a Chernobog as their last card in hand, and then they
you
sudden
mean
chill it, grab
I
one
was
of my
I was
things and
confused.
down.
I thought you meant red blue.
Oh no, no,
Ah,
no! I don't crush red blue. No,
yeah, but
that's a
yeah,
struggle.
but Turnadog for you seems really free.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was confused. That the red blue is free
You
with.
thought I'd broken the metagame.
Yeah. I was
Sorry to
very
get you
happy.
excited.
You excited me so much, and now it's a disappointment. It's real.
Sorry, you got to crash back down to earth now.
Yes. So mainly we want to talk about two decks. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Let's
I mean, probably it didn't change too much, but I think you want to emphasize how good you think the deck is.
Yeah, green purple discard. Yeah, so I've been tinkering around a little bit. Let me just pull up
Oh,
my
there's a
version.
Kronk.
Yeah, that's
A
just
spice. That's his new
that's a
spice.
little bit of spice for me. Playing quite a lot of mirrors. The mirrors are increasing, and I wanted like one more big ward thing for
Mm-hmm.
singing Bruno's. Like you don't have to play Kronk.
Yeah.
This is a a character trait of mine. I love a little unplayable 5-drop that just slot one in for fun. But no, it situationally can be very, very good, and just having this like ward, can't be coiled, can't be can't be ice blocked, that sort of thing. So just lives through all those sorts of blue red type things. Yeah, I've been
There's
playing with
one
one,
number
and
I
that,
don't I don't I'm I
I
don't know
know,
what to
is it
say.
3 genies?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
now
I knew that was going to be a point of contention, especially when you look straight underneath it and you see that there's one Kronk, and you're like, oh, I could
no,
see where that fourth genie could come in, and I would like
no.
it a lot more.
I don't judge you because you have way more experience with this deck than me.
Yeah, so basically, I've played a ton of games with
Uh-huh.
the previous version that I showed, a ton of games, and I don't think there's any. I don't see much need to change it because
Yeah, okay,
like
that's
my
reasonable.
win rates are crazy and the deck is super fun and I've really got the hang of the lines. But I wanted to try some different things. One thing that I have in like I sort of begrudgingly came over to this camp, which is playing Heffalumps over Improvise.
Mm-hmm.
Took a long time to come around to it. I really did like the flexibility of Improvise, but
You didn't like my ideas.
of playing,
Strike a good match.
I like that too, but I need like a utility action rather than I'm not lacking for card draw and filtering, you know? Like I'm always seeing enough cards.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
kind of
No,
please don't
sometimes I
apologize
found
to
it.
me.
Sometimes I found it useful if I don't have Diablo in my
Yeah,
opening
yeah.
hand,
I mean
and then
it's
you,
it can be very, very useful, that sort of thing. But yeah, I want some sort of utility action and I think Heffalumps is kind of it because we do get outpaced a little bit by some decks. And it's useful in those situations as well. I found it particularly good on a to play it on an opposing Hiram before they go into their be prepared turn.
mm-hmm.
Like if you're really thinking like if the board is set up in such a way where it looks like so obvious, like you have a really obvious read, this is a be prepared turn. Just deny them those 2 cards before they wipe the board and make them kill their own Hiram. And yeah, it just has a lot of it's ink a lot of the time, but it has some really good situational uses.
And
Yeah, I like improvise,
what I
and I
really
like it.
think is better than I initially thought is
Hmm.
the item destruction song. You say you are very low on it, I know it, but we all think, oh, there comes the next popsicle next turn or something. That sometimes you really crush them with destroying an item.
Yeah.
When you but I remember when I play Bencher or something, it sometimes crushes everything they do. They especially on the play, but you don't even need to be on the play. They go popsicle, ramp Hiram, and on the second turn you just destroy the item,
Mm.
and then they can't do that line, and then they just I don't know they play Hiram for nothing, and then often they don't have a second popsicle, especially blue red. So I still
Yeah.
think it's a reasonable, a reasonable play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is reasonable. It's better than I kind of responded. Better than the way I kind of spoke about it before. Um, to me, it's still just like too narrow. I love the hyper consistency of the deck. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, I don't get bent out of shape when I don't draw my Diablo to shift. Like, I know a lot of people view this as like the fast shift to Diablo, like shift to
Mm,
Diablo turn 2 in over 50% of games and you just win deck. But like, 1-drop Ursula Crab, like, I'll just play that forever and be happy, and I'll find
yeah,
a way to win
but
that game.
against who you can do that? I mean, who's so I don't want to say stupid to let you grab something on turn 3? You know, was my problem always. Like, um,
Yeah, I guess so.
but to be fair, so what I ask you to is
Hmm.
um Ursula, you didn't like, right?
Yeah, I don't like it. No, I don't. I think it, and I have a really specific reason, which is that it leads me everything comes back to flexibility for me, and Ursula leads me into like these. It takes you in, it locks you into specific play patterns. Like if you have an Ursula active and ready to sing, you then like you will do that, you know? It sounds really weird to complain about that, but if I play a turn 3 Ursula, I'm then gonna be singing the song I'm holding on to. I'm crossing my fingers to not get that song ripped away the turn before I play it and just render this card bad. Then, regardless of what my opponent has done on the following turn, I'm gonna be singing that song, which is fine when it's like a double sudden chill or something, or if it's
Mm-hmm.
a draw four with friends. Sometimes you will miss those songs with her, and she's gonna feel miserable, which I don't like. But I always want to be make every single turn. I don't want to be burdened by the decisions I made like a turn ahead and locked into this line. I hope this makes some sense. I don't just sound crazy, but it's I want to be responding to what my opponent's done in a meaningful way rather than just thinking I slam Ursula now. Please answer it, or I'll just double chill you. Like
Mm,
what? Sometimes I want to hold my chill until it's getting the last card of their hand or one of the last cards in their hand. What if I Ursulaed and they high roamed and I'm holding chill but not friends, and then they've got like 5 cards in hand? I'm probably locked into double chilling them, and I've just wasted my chill essentially.
yes and no. Yes and no. I would say yes and no. I would not disagree, but I don't agree as well. I think I lacked personally proactive things to do often.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
against so many decks, they are so absurdly powerful that you need to do something proactive to how can I say, to compete in power level, or I don't know how to describe it. And I'm was durdling around too often with nothing to do too much. But you have so much success with this list, so who am I talking to? So probably you are right, and I am not.
Uh, I
Yeah,
mean, I
I
don't
mean,
really.
yeah, yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I don't know. Like this is a genuine problem this time around with this deck, which is that I am enjoying it so much in primarily the list that I showed previously. Like
Mm-hmm.
these new additions are like
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I'm trying some new cards out, and they're kind of good. The one thing I'm sure on is that the Heffalumps it has felt good. Um, I it's the first time I've played a deck where I've thought like, why am I trying to engineer these things into it? Why am I trying to fit Queen into this deck? Like
Yeah,
the
Queen
list feels so
is.
tight to me. Like, why am I trying to put these cards into this
No,
deck?
no,
I'm
no.
so happy with every single one of them,
Yeah, okay,
and
then that is good.
you get locked into like this
I had way
cycle of
way less
constant
success.
innovation and iteration. But it's like at some point you have to be like, you know what, this is clicking for me, and I'm happy to just down tools for now and just say this flows really nicely and plays in a way that I'm super happy with. And yeah, I don't know. I like Ursula Deceiver of All is one of those cards that I used to love, and just lately I just don't get on with it because it to me it's just so swingy. I don't want that element in it. I get needing a proactive thing, but like sometimes a crab is proactive. Like just putting a crab into play changes all future board decisions for your opponent.
Yeah, mainly I probably think too much about the blue matchups or something. I don't know.
Lucifer,
I
by the
struggled a
way,
lot
is like
against red blue, to be honest,
yeah, okay.
and I want to get the matchup even, and then yeah, Ursula is a tool to do that for me. But
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know. It's the problem for me is just. No, I don't say that. I think that's stupid if I say that now. Yeah, I mean, it now is spoiled it. I really hate the deck. It's really, I'm really sad because it's so far away from the direction I want green purple to be. But yeah, it's like it, and I really want to avoid playing this. It's so different for you, I know, and maybe I'm also playing it sometimes wrong, but I don't think too much, to be honest. Um, it feels so linear to me. I don't know. I don't know. I really I don't know. It's sad for me. But
Yeah, I
probably
mean, I get it. I totally get it. I don't know what to suggest. You don't have to play it. I mean, I
Yeah,
feel the same way about like the mid-range blue steel variants that you've come to really enjoy. Like I find them just unbelievably dull. Um, any deck that has Hiram in it, like I'm
yeah.
just
The thing is,
not interested.
I thought about this, and there was as a shout out. First of all, shout out to DKP and Federico, because it was a match. I never saw something like that. Last Friday they played their LCCC match, and they played like 2.5 hours. And these blue red mirror matches, they are, how can I say that, absurdly skill intensive. Every turn matters. In like the match lasts for 40 turns or something, and every turn you make a mistake, you lose the game. And then we both still think, what is this stupid deck, So, but what do we complain? Do we complain that the skill isn't there? No, we can't complain that the skill isn't there, because the skill is absolutely there. This is an absolutely skill intensive match. It still feels not very exciting for me to see that, and probably we are just like, yeah, just like um yeah, tired of it or something. I don't know, but it's still
Yeah, I
interesting
mean,
to me. Why do we still think that? Because it's far away from nonsense. It's far away from no decision or something. It's really far away from that. I mean, there are some matches with blue red where we don't have many decisions, but for example, the mirror match is very, very skill intensive. I mean, if you play like 2.5 hours, there will probably a lot of decisions in that match. I don't know how
yeah,
you if you
totally.
understand what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean because the last few weeks I've kind of got more and more just irritated with like specific cards that just frustrate me. And like blue red as a whole is so uniquely frustrating for the reasons that I've kind of talked about in previous
Mm-hmm.
weeks, and it's the it's the lack of counterplay to the Sisu type builds. And it's yeah, I know what you mean. Like the go-to is like, oh, this is so easy, you can't mess this up. Actually, for me, the essence of what's frustrating about it is that the floor on those first five-ish turns
Yeah,
is so wildly high,
yeah, yeah,
and I think it's really as long as you've drawn the right cards. So
yeah.
let's say you've spent an hour reading a mulligan guide for the deck. So you're not making basic mulliganing mistakes. You're mulliganing to a reasonable standard because you've read one of the guides available, um, and then you're having a reasonable draw. It's not like you don't need everything. All you need is your turn one is Porpsicle, your turn two is one of your 8 ramp cards, and then on turn three you can play a Hiram. And if you fear that it's a matchup where the Hiram might get immediately brawled, instead you could play a Tala. Um, this and then from there you can go on to draw additional cards with what you played on your turn three using your 4 ink, and start to remove things, which you then continue to do for the for the turns that come after that. There is so It's a complete linear run out that doesn't vary at all. Really, there's probably some edge cases. I'm sure someone will tell me why I'm completely wrong. But for the most part, you don't need to change anything about your run out for those early turns to based on what like deck your opponent has. Like sometimes you might make a micro decision between Sail or Tipo, depending like how much they're contesting the board early, that sort of thing. And these decisions are like they are decisions, but like are they can affect the game moving forward in that they affect how many cards you have in hand. But it's so to me it's like the most linear. I find it so dull to
Oh, I
play against
really.
and to play with. And it's like you have to you play through these linear 4 to 6 turns and then unlock the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
So that then the skill expression really begins for me,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mm-hmm.
longer it goes on, the more skill expression there is. I'm not saying there's none. I'm saying that there is a very, very high level, simple to execute game plan that will take you into the mid game
Mm-hmm.
with almost zero scope for failure. Um, unless you get unlucky, assuming you're like an average player that, as I say, has looked at a mulligan guide so that you don't make glaring mistakes. And that's where the frustration is that in those early turns, it often feels like, anyone could be executing it to the same standard, and I would still be struggling. It's all on the relative power level of the cards and deck as a whole. Yeah, that's kind of where I've landed with it. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I think for the most part you're right. Yeah. And I wanna apologize. For me, the main problem is Diablo. Just probably that's a card I hate to play with, and I feel like I know you played the deck much more, and you probably couldn't disagree more. But I still feel like the decks are doing so powerful things. If I don't shift Diablo, I don't know. What this deck is so fair, and I don't know. And I feel like I get one Hiram, and yeah, well, hard for me. But you prove, and I will probably look again on this deck. But then I really get mad again because if I always have this stupid bird in my deck, I get always mad, and because yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just sometimes not your playstyle. That's totally fine, and that's totally fine.
And that is, I didn't think this would be my sort of play style, but I've really taken to it and really grown to enjoy it. I think that this is kind of taking us into a different topic that we hadn't planned, but like it's so important to me to play something you enjoy. Like that's so level one.
Yeah.
Like there in this metagame at the moment, where you've got such a high level of blue dominance, there are a lot of competitive players that think I need to play red blue or blue steel, even though they have like deep pedigrees in other archetypes. Like they're all. I saw a few tweets this weekend. I saw one from Wochuk, or one from Wochuk, where he kind of said listed a group of people. Each of them sort of had their own distinct identity with a deck that they'd worked with and iterated on for months, if not years at this point, and all of them collectively had jumped to blue red. Like I want to know how those players, well, first of all, how they're feeling. Like, are you okay? And second of all, I'd love to know how they perform, because for me, if I don't have if it hasn't clicked with me in like this sort of, this aligns with how I think about the game, this aligns with just the way my mind works. I can't even quantify it a lot. It's just sometimes like this has gelled or it has not. It's one of my struggles with the LCCC is that I locked blue steel, and these different versions, they just don't gel for me. Like I can pick them up and I can do a reasonable job with them, but I never feel at ease or comfortable. You can argue you should never feel comfortable in a TCG, but yeah, there's a lot of this shifting around people are doing that I just want to kind of get your thought on. Like,
I think
you're someone who's moved to focusing your attention on blue steel from an archetype you're deeply involved with. And like, how do you feel about that? Like,
I think
to me, I'm always playing something I enjoy if I can. I'm not going to make this mistake again that I did with the LCCC.
First of all, I think many people have other, how can I say that, requirements for clicking, You think, I really like the play style and I want to tempo something, and then I want to play Genie and stuff. And some people only want to win, Like the requirement of clicking is power of a deck, Like and that's both not really, how can I say, judgeable or something. And I'm probably in between of that. I am in between of you and that. But there are really some decks I really don't want to touch, and I think I wouldn't be happy. And I don't know. I completely get what you mean. I totally, and I still totally agree with it. Just if I, for example, drive like 8 hours to a tournament or something, and then I think it makes no sense. I would play a deck that I really see no ability to have success, then I would probably jump off or something. But yeah, I think it's still very powerful. It's still very, very important to play what you like. For me, it's always was in every TCG, in every, also in every computer game or something. It was always this jack of all trades thing. I played in World of Warcraft. I played Druid forever. In other things, I played always like class that can then heal and do damage or something. And here's also I want to play something that's aggressive and can play late game, and so that's always because that's what I like about what I did like about Red Purple too. Like this, it was also like and Green Purple was like that too, a bit more aggressive, but also was like that end game stuff, and was able to compete in the end game, I could say. I mean, there's no deck that can do everything perfectly, but I was also more happy to do nothing perfect, but everything a bit. That's what I enjoy about decks, or about playstyles, and that's what I always try to search. But to be fair, always probably is able to lack a bit of high rolling potential. That's the cost of my, well, how can I say, my liked playstyle. I always tend to, I mean, we talked about it, but I always tend to play like fair cards that do multiple things or like that, but nothing perfectly. And this is why I was too rude. I'm sorry. I feel really bad for this too, because you're having so much fun with it, and I don't want to make this fun less or something. That I bashed so much on this deck, because it felt like, but it felt like linear, but it's not like linear. Then I said, I feel like if I play one drop Diablo, I see Bobo in my opening hand, my opponent's hand. I think, what do I do now? What? So like that, and that's what I don't like. I really like, that's what I, maybe we come to my list then in the next step, about my blue steel, because it can be aggressive but still doing late game, and that's always this like, I can't identify myself thing, like can do everything. But before we jump off, I really want to, for the listeners, if you play this deck, you won't be disappointed by power level. It's a very strong deck, and if you feel free to learn it and to be open-minded for its playlines, then you won't be disappointed. Or would you agree that? You probably would. Yeah.
It has a high power level. It takes some getting to grips with. Specifically,
the
if you're
discard
coming
stuff.
off.
I think the discard stuff is the most tricky thing. Like, don't mindlessly slam them. You need to, most of the time. I mean, I don't know if you agree, but most of the time you gather them, the discard cards, and shoot them out in one turn. Like,
completely.
Yeah.
So like a common turn 6 is like Sing a Sudden Chill, double Hypnotize.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you were holding 3 cards, now you are not holding any. GG.
Yeah. That's the way you win with it.
Yeah,
That's why I think the Lucifer is really cool.
Lucifer is so good. He's such an overperformer.
And that was the initial idea from me for the Ursula, because it's an additional discard. It's like it was one more card I could discard, and that's, I also thought about cards like Honey Lemon, but then it goes too fair. But I still sometimes think I need one more discard. Like that's what I often felt. But it's you, as you said, you don't need to never change the running system. It's just the maximizing against the blue decks is so much in my head, so much, that I probably overlook really some other matchups. I'm really sure about that. And then and then you get less versatile, and then yeah. Okay, but let's talk about my list maybe. If you are open to it.
Yeah,
And you
of
can
course.
bash the decks.
I'm open to it.
You can bash the deck the same that I bashed your list.
You feel much too bad about that. Like
Yeah, no, but because I
I'm
think
here for criticism and because I like respect your opinion greatly, more than I respect my own.
Ah,
I'm not
don't say
looking for
that.
like if you say you don't, I say I hate everything. Like, how am I going to hate someone else for saying they hate something? Like, that would be the most hypocritical thing
if I
ever.
say that the deck, I said things like it's so linear, and so that's I don't want to say insulting, but that's not. If you have success with the deck and you feel like you have much variety and such stuff, and then I say, oh, it's so linear. You don't always do the same stupid deck. Everyone can win with this. Then it's not good for me, you know. And then I can apologize, and that's fine.
Yeah, well, I still appreciate it. It's good info.
Nice.
But yeah, I'll hold back a little bit. I won't be too cruel about you.
You can please bash me as much as you can. No, I have some infos to share. First of all, this is my new version. I'm really high on it. I have a lot of success the last few days with it, and I think the people don't respect it. Really don't respect it. At least the manners they don't respect, and they don't respect aggressive things at all right now. It feels really like they play greedy. If I see the sand list, I don't know. I am really not afraid of this. You know, I still think Benja is a really good card in this meta. And what I really found out, a 5-cost singer and let it go won me a ton of games. Really a ton of games. I'm struggling between TikTok and Chenpo. But TikTok, I tell you, you won't believe it, but I tell you, he's overperforming. Please try the deck and play him. He is so annoying for so many decks. Like it's really surprising to me how good he is. It's against Steel Song, you play this. It's so annoying. They can quest with Rapunzel. They can. It's so annoying. And then he's a perfect singer, and he's perfect at protecting the mana. And you can still run Chenpo, but I really like that he is able to quest into everything. Really quest into everything. He can run over a Tamator. He can run over what's very important over Cogsworth, and he is also an additional Diablo answer, you could say, because I play 6 pirates at him, and he's really, really good. Try him out. I'm really convinced that you need a 5-cost character and let it go in the current meta, because you need, in this deck at least, to have answers for Shiny Tamator and stuff, because it's sometimes really not able to close out in the early game. And even against Red Blue, he doesn't get Coil Seasuit, or at least not single Coil Seasuit. And then what do they do with the Seasuit? You know, everything else dies, and then this is so stupid for them to do.
Can I ask about a specific line?
Yes.
Have you yet? I look at this and I think this is the kind of like dream. This is what my dreams look like. Have you hit an opponent's Tamatoa with your TikTok to kill it, then banish 2 Porpsicles to heal your TikTok to full, and play Tamatoa to rebuy the 2 Porpsicles?
Oh no, that's not what I did. But to be fair,
that would be my chosen turn 6.
To be fair, it doesn't happen, but it prevents the Tamator from questing. You know, they won't quest into him.
Sure.
At least only if they have a dime. You know, but other than that, they probably won't quest. But that's good enough. You know, if they don't quest with a Tamator, then that's totally fine for me. And I really wanted to overcome this Cogsworth stuff as well, because Cogsworth was a really problematic card sometimes, and as long as the TikTok is on the board, I can't get out tempoed most of the time, and then he's good. He's really good. But you can still play Chenpo or you can split them. But I'm really convinced that you need a 5-cost character, and a 5-cost character that's really important. That survives Zeus, you know. That's important for me. It needs to survive Zeus against many matchups, and then the options are not very much, you know. A 5-cost character with six health are not that common. So I love it. I think he needs attention, and that's what I get him. Also, what I came to is like I cut the Calhoons and played Sail now. So on turn 2, I can either ramp or place me. What's really versatile and cool. So I get less predictable, and both are very good turn 2 plays, where Calhoun was most of the time meh. And these are both very good. And it's exactly the deck I enjoy. It's like you can do so many things, adapt to. I mean, it's not that they stop you early game and you lose. It's also not that you lose any end game fight, and you can do much, and are not easy to be caught. Like you can't deny me from drawing cards. You can't deny me from being aggressive. It's really good. And manas, I just can't repeat it. Manas are the card of the format for me that win you the most nonsense games. And it's so easy sometimes to win games with mana. Like if you ever sing a good strength or Zeus and place a mana, it's so hard to recover from your opponent. It's so free win, sometimes so free wins. It's incredible. Like one good song, and that's what I wanted to maximize here. Like even Let It Go, sing Let It Go, place a mana. That's also very good. It's very hard for that. There are very many playlines in this deck where it's hard to recover from. And I initially tried to play more items to make use of the Scrooge, but it just makes the deck so way less efficient, and you need to play a lot of more garbage items. And the problem is with a dime or something. We play no Tipu and no Fishbone, so an early draw on dime is always a dead card in my hand, you know, and that makes it very tricky to play that card in this deck. You need to. I think you can only play a dime in a deck where you are able to sometimes ink it with some other cards, or this card is very, very clunky. Same with Hades. Hades is also a card I like, but also on the other hand, it's very clunky sometimes. And Let It Go is not a card you necessarily need in all situations. It's inkable, not a very high cost to play this card. And I still think Benjas are needed. That's what I came to. That's my conclusion, which I came to. Like, the tempo you gain by benching a coil is so great. And all of the time, also, they don't have always a Tematura to recruit right now immediately. And then it's benching on the play, benching a Popsicle is great, and on the draw, benching a coil is great. So I think he's really also his cost at playing him is not very high. He quests for 2. It's at least a character you could play. When you see this list, did you see something? Do you see something? What's missing here? Completely?
No, to me it looks.
But there's something
really like
missing. There's something missing.
What's missing?
Pete.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Pete is.
It does feel a lot less important.
Yeah, Pete is really. Sure. It's really doing nothing right now. So I wanted to try without him. I didn't miss him yet. Could change though. And still probably in tournament or with open deck list, I would play 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But right now in closed deck list or when doing testing, I didn't miss him. And he's also one of these fair turn 3 plays where you think, okay, that's not doing much right now. So if you think, what I really like about this deck too is, if you really think Blue Steel is great into aggro, then this is a complete devastation of aggro. You know, that's complete knockout. Like, you know, but because sometimes aggro or purple steel, if you don't hit Bell with the item version, sometimes it can get tricky. You know, if you don't hit Bell, then you ramp on turn 2. Then they get to a serious amount of lore, and then, well, this deck is a nightmare to aggro, really a real nightmare. Like, you will steal me 1 of 10 games or something. Like, you know, this is what I really like, and I don't think one matchup is highly unfavored. Red blue is okay. I would say like 46-47% win rate. I would, if I just immediately say it, like, if tech with the benchers, it's really fine. Also maybe skill dependent. If I think I get against worse players than me, I've kind of feel confident. I mean, if they have the nuts, we all know that it's sometimes easy to win for them, but yeah, I don't feel too bad. And especially against the DKP version of the deck, I really feel confident with this deck. I don't know if you have anything to add.
No, I think it looks really solid. I totally get like why TikTok is great.
Oh, really?
Makes complete sense.
You don't have to say that, you know?
No, it makes complete sense to me. I'm always looking for like when these. It sounds really strange because it's, you know, the card pool is so deep now, but it takes me back to, you know, set 1, set 2, set 3, and you could identify, like, you know, if you were like a deck builder, you could identify specific stat lines that were like well positioned to exploit basically the whole metagame. You know, it's like this period of time where everyone was playing kind of underpowered characters with effects on them, that sort of thing, and it was like jamming a 3/3 on turn 3
was great.
Won the board. Uncontested won the board versus most of the other things people were doing. It makes total sense to me. The 5/6 is so hard to remove.
But even because even if they cut Storm, many people cut Storm right now. So, like, you know, they can't even Storm and Suicide or something, and then it's really, it's at least annoying for them. That's very least that's annoying for them. And if you slam a mana behind him, it gets really tricky for them to Blue Steel has struggled to remove this card. It's just a simple fact. It's just a simple fact. It's not that they say it's broken. It's not that I think it breaks the format or something. But it's like they have struggled to remove this card and can trade everything in their deck. You know. I even traded with him and Bell, Big Tamator, and he survives. You know. Bam! Value.
I do have, related to this list, though, I have one point of slightly bad news for you.
Oh.
While I was ill this week, for better or worse, I watched The Princess and the Frog for the first time, and I now know who Lawrence is, which is sad. Now he's a character in my head instead of just some guy. Instead of just being level 1 male, he's a person. He has character, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. You will not catch me watching Aristocats. I'm not going to make that mistake with Thomas O'Malley.
But the next question is, who is TikTok?
Yeah, who is TikTok? Who cares? I don't care.
I don't want to see. I don't want to read the flavor text now because
don't look.
I don't look. I will never look again over the flavor text. I have a guess that he's from Peter Pan.
I think so too.
Yeah,
that's my guess as
well. He ate Captain Hook, right? I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's him.
This in my mind, is the superior way to enjoy this game. Like,
Yeah.
this is so much the game. The game becomes so much more magical if
Yeah.
you're playing like Disney princesses and heroes and villains that you know and recognize, and then also just sometimes being like, I slam a man and
And a
a cat.
TikTok and a
It is a
crocodile.
cat. This is TikTok. I have no idea what he's from or what he does, and it doesn't matter. He's just this guy, and it's like like salted caramel. You put a bit. It's like the little salt in your caramel. It elevates the sweetness, even though it's salty. The presence of the salt elevates the sweetness, and so
That's so good
it
description.
makes you realize how special the other characters are in comparison to these generic just dudes and crocodiles on the field. So yeah, I was sorry to let you know that, but I do know who Lawrence is, and he's now ruined for me. But yeah, I'm gonna keep Thomas O'Malley as like immaculate.
There are some cards.
I will not I will not learn who he is. It would make the game less enjoyable for me to know what Thomas O'Malley is like as a character.
But there are some cards like also Bencher. Absolutely no idea, Bencher? What's this card? I don't know. But yeah. This is just a warrior, like it's just a man with a sword, yeah. But okay.
It also
or Kronk
can
or
increase
something?
your enjoyment. Yeah, Kronk. Oh, you don't know Kronk? I do know Kronk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Kronk?
Yeah.
Is
Kronk is a great character from Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, I didn't watch it. No.
Well, don't, It's just keep him
Yeah,
immaculate
I
in your
really
head.
don't.
But he is a good character. Yeah, it can increase your like your enjoyment of watching these movies as well. Like now that we've played Lorcana for like nearly 2 years,
Mhm.
I was watching Princess and the Frog for the first time in my life, and I was like Prince Naveen came in and starts
Oh.
like, oh, he's being all slick and cool and everything, and I was just like, yeah, he would. What a scumbag! I hated him from minute one. I was just like, because of the amount of time I've been like Naveen wheeled, that like I have this attachment to the card based on like to the character based on the card, and yeah, it's like when you were a kid, you get really into these stories, and you could feel you were supporting the heroes and cheering against the villains, that sort of thing. It kind of goes away as you get older, but like imagine if there was a new Zootopia movie and like somehow Porpsicle was the villain. Like I would be in the
It
cinema
is the
on like
villain.
applauding. Ah, yes, yes. Like as people just like kick and stomp on Porpsicles. And just... Or if there was a new Basil movie and like Hiram Flavisham was the villain, I would just be like, yeah, letting off fireworks in the cinema in celebration, and
Burn him. Just
yeah,
burn him.
it's just absolutely loving life. So it can heighten your enjoyment when like these things exist as cards first and characters second.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to let you know that unfortunately I do know who Lawrence is.
That's sad, yeah. He was such a Wikipedia male guy.
Yeah,
But
shame.
In the end, I just want to shortly, I don't like advertisement too much, but just shortly mention that I'm writing on a guide right now for the Blue Steel deck, Tempo deck of my version. And I will release it probably next week. If you liked my Green Purple guides, I think it's like of the same shell, just with a different deck. And if you are interested in it, you can buy it then in my meta file. If you like the playstyle of the deck, I will keep you updated on Twitter and next week in the ArtaCast probably too. Yes, that's that. I think we can wrap it up now, right? Or do you have anything?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to wrap up. I've got my LCCC game to play in a little under an hour.
Yeah. And we all wish how do you say it in English? Wish you the best of luck. I don't know. Yeah. And you will do it. and we're all excited for that. And I hope you all watched it. If you listen to this. Okay.
Yeah, well, by the time people listen, it's happened.
Yeah, I think
for better or worse.
That's what I said. That's why I said I hope you watched this when you listen to this. If not, you're not worthy to watch this podcast.
Whoa.
No, you are.
Much like the characters in Disney movies that exist in cards. Sometimes it's better if you listen to the podcast but have never watched me play a game of Lorcana. Just allow me to exist in your mind as an expert. Don't ruin it by watching me play the game. Don't spoil this. Don't spoil this image you built up. I've worked so hard on this. Don't look. Just don't look at me. Try and play the game. It's much better idea.
So clever. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, then thanks everyone for watching. It was a funny episode again, and hope you join next time again and next week again, and have a good one. And till next time, and bye.
Bye.